welcome back to the Nurse Nook. So today I'm doing a video called what to expect after getting into nursing school. If you're anything like me, I had 5,025 questions when I first got accepted. I'm like, okay, what do I do next? What are my next steps? I'm so excited, I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. So I'm gonna kind of try to break it down a little bit for you guys, just so you know what to expect after getting accepted. I know when I first got accepted, I literally cried like as soon as I read the email. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe they chose me. Like, I don't know anything. I got in nursing school though. So fast forward, after getting accepted, like a couple days later, they sent me an email. The school sent me an email with everything I would have to do before starting the nursing program. This is something that I wasn't aware of before starting, so I kind of like to let people know, warn them, so they know what they're getting themselves into. There's kind of a long list of things to do before actually starting the program after you get accepted, and it can kind of start adding up. So I just want to kind of break it down to you so you guys know what you're getting into. So one of the first things you're gonna have to do is do a background check. This is something that the schools do to make sure that they're not letting criminals, people that have murdered 5 people in the past, into nursing school, that are going to be taking care of lives, and such on and so forth. I really don't know what the parameters are, like if you had like a petty theft when you were like 13, if that'll stop you getting in. But I know like felonies, they will definitely be like, The next thing you're gonna have to do is a drug test. Drug test for obvious reasons. The one thing about all of this stuff that you have to do is you have to pay out of pocket for it. It's not like the school pays for it for you. You have to pay out of pocket. I'm like, you're the one that wants to check my background. Like, why do I have to pay for that? I can just tell you, like, my background is clean. Why do I have to pay for that? But yes, you have to pay for all of it. Next thing you're gonna have to do is get your immunizations. I did not realize that I wasn't caught up with all my vaccines until getting into nursing school, because I realized there were a lot of things I was missing. I think I was missing like my 2nd or 3rd dose of MMR, and I also had to get the meningococcal vaccine, and I also had to do a PPD test, which is the tuberculosis test. That's something that you have to do every year. So even if you had it a while ago, it was negative, they still have to repeat it every year because you can be exposed. Even at work, I have to do the PPD test every single year. You're also gonna have to get a physical signed by a doctor. They wanna make sure you're healthy, make sure you're able to, you know, lift stuff, do stuff, and practice in the hospital setting. Another thing you're gonna have to do is a fit test. A fit test, when I heard this, the first time I heard it, I really thought they were gonna make us run on treadmills, do squats, like push-ups, see how fit we are. And that is totally not the case. A fit test is a mask test. So if you guys know that N95 respirators, they're like masks that are fitted to your face in case you have a patient with tuberculosis or another airborne disease. These are the masks you wear in the room. You don't wear the surgical mask because air can get into it and you will get infected with whatever is going on in there. So how the fit test works is they put a mask on you. Say they'll start off with like a medium or small. Say they start out with a medium, so they put the medium mask on you, and then they put this giant hood on your head with a little hole in the front, and they sprayed in the mask, and they're like, okay, tell me when you taste it. Or wait, no, I'm lying. Let's reverse. They put the hood without the mask on your head, they spray the stuff, you taste it so you know what it smells like, they have you drink some water, and then they have you put the mask on. Then you put the hood on and they spray it again, and if you can taste it, they know that the mask isn't your fit. So the goal of it is to not taste this nasty stuff that they spray in there, because if you can taste it, that means it won't fit you, because airborne particles will get in there and infect you. So they want to make sure that you are fitted well for this mask. You can't have a beard for this test. Like, they want it to be like perfectly fitted. And you also are gonna have to get your flu shot depending on the season. I went ahead and got my flu shot before I started just to get it out of the way, but then I ended up having to get it again when flu season came around. So I just like wasted of time of getting it. But depending on when you start, you'll most likely have to get your flu shot done. Now, another thing you're gonna have to do, which every school kind of does it differently, so I'll just tell you how my school did it. It's called clinical compliance. Clinical compliance just basically means that you are compliant to practice in the hospital setting. You have different requirements for every hospital. So every semester, not all the nursing students go to the same hospital. So my first semester, I went to the VA in the area, and I think that was it. Yeah, I just went to the VA. So I had to be compliant with the VA before starting. So I had to do all their online modules, do like a mini orientation, make sure I had everything that they required. Every hospital is different and requires you to have different things done. But mainly most of them are just like modules. Some hospitals will have you go to like computer orientation sessions. When I did my clinicals for the first time, the computer training was included in the first day of clinical, so I didn't have to go an extra day for computer training, so that was nice. Another thing you're gonna have to get is your supplies. This is where the coins start racking up. It starts getting so expensive, and depending on your program, like the uniforms, vary in prices. So my school, I had to buy the uniforms through the school. Like I couldn't go out to Janu or Cherokee uniforms and get whatever I wanted. Like the school had specific scrubs, they had specific colors and specific embroidery. So we could only buy from their realtors. That's how you say it. What is wrong with my English? I don't know. Like, I can never freaking speak when I turn on this camera. Anyways, we'd have to go through them. So it gets expensive. Let me tell y'all, I was so cheap when I was buying my uniform. I literally bought one of each thing. And so, there were some weeks where I had to wear it multiple times. So I just like washed it in between. But I'm like, I'm a broke nursing student. There is no way I'm buying multiple pairs of this ugly uniform. Like one is enough. My mom's like, oh, you need to get, you know, extra uniforms. You never know what can get dirty. And I'm like, that is such a mom thing to say, but I am not spending my coins on that. I ended up eventually getting like a second pair of pants. I don't even know why. I think like somebody gave them to me or something. I don't know, but yeah. I didn't even get a jacket. Like that's how you know I'm cheap, because I am always freezing in the hospital and they only allow us to wear the jackets that go with the uniform. And they were like even more hideous than the actual uniforms. And I was like, $35 for this? I'm like, I just will wear a long sleeve. So I would like layer my long sleeves underneath it and put tights on and high socks because I was just so cheap. And I was like, there is no way they're getting me to get that jacket and spend all those coins for that. I will pass. So minus that, there's still like your stethoscope and all your other supplies you'd have to get, which starts adding up. Like there are a lot. And not even counting this is the textbooks. Like the textbooks are the worst. That is where a big chunk of your money will go to, is the textbooks. I'm not gonna go into detail on all the supplies that you actually need because I'm gonna be doing a separate video on the supplies, so make sure you stay tuned for that one. So yeah, that's the whole supplies thing that you need. Another thing that you're gonna have to do is orientation. Orientation was one of the most exciting parts for me because I was so excited to be in the program, and when I knew that my orientation was coming up, I was so excited. I'm like, I cannot wait to get into it. Like, I just want to know everything that we're going to be experiencing, like what we have to get done, blah, blah, blah. So my school did it where we had something called boot camp before we did orientation. So boot camp basically was I think a month or so before we had orientation, and it basically prepared us for what nursing school was going to be like. So they told us, like, we had little sessions about one of them was like, write down two or three things that you're going to give up before starting nursing school. And then they had like actual nursing students that were in the actual program come and speak to us. And I really like that part because, you know, when you're starting a program and doing whatever, the instructors are gonna kind of like sugarcoat things for you. Not all of them, but some of them, they're gonna make it sound really good. But you get the full realness when you speak to the students that are actually in the program. So they were telling us like little tips and tricks and like how to study for certain teachers and what's on like certain tests. Not like what's on the test, but like, I wish they told us what's on the test. Just like, basically like what textbooks would be most helpful to use, blah, 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 such and such. They even gave us like some tips on how they studied and how they memorized their medications and so forth. And I really like that because that gave us like a real look into what we were gonna be doing. So after boot camp is when we actually had our orientation. So orientation was like 2 days of nothing but information. It was a lot of information. They handed out a lot of papers, a lot of packets. I had my little notepad, I was writing my notes. And basically they just broke everything down for us. They broke down what we're gonna do in skills labs, what we're gonna do in clinicals, our dosing exams, like just prepared us for everything that we were going to be experiencing. And I love that part because I knew what was coming. I knew what to expect about the whole program. Nothing kept me guessing, and I knew the expectations. So that like set the mood for me to begin nursing school. So I love that part of it. Every school has a different way of doing things, but for the most part, this is everything that you're gonna be expected to do after getting into nursing school, guys. I hope this helped you. For any new nursing students, hopeful nursing students, students that are still in high school hoping to get into nursing school, I hope this video helped you guys. Leave some feedback down below. If you experiencing the same thing when you got accepted into nursing school, or how your school did it differently, let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure you stay tuned for that supplies video.